Welcome, welcome. It's Eric, the Big E Arnold, here in his studio, which he calls the Sports Barn. Although, I guess for this episode, it's going to be the Politics Barn. I don't know if we should have a sign that we like flip, like, one of those chic restaurants when you want food and when you don't want food. Politics Barn, Sports Barn. Politics Barn, Sports Barn. I'm going to make another video here. The last video I made dealing with politics, I guess I was the lucky one that introduced you to this guy, Tony Bobulinski, who has directly implicated Joe Biden in, well, certainly lying and possibly selling out the country to China. Things that you would think are important. But the reason I made the video is because that story is being hidden as well as possible by the legacy media, Twitter, Facebook, the usual suspects. So I got to make a video about it, and all these people come in and watch the video, which, my normal videos get like 50 views maybe if I'm lucky, and this one got 5,000. So give the people what they want. I'm going to give you another political video here with me. Look, I figure what we'll do here, let me tell you a little bit about me. So, all you thousands of new people possibly aren't wasting your time. Obviously, I think the majority of our audience are Trump people. I got the camera tilted here because it doesn't quite cover, well, I guess it covers whatever I want it to if I just zoom in and out. I have it more zoomed in here. I got over here on this board my Trump sign, Trump 2020. I'm a Trump supporter, at least in this cycle, I certainly am. So let's talk a little bit about my background just so you can kind of judge, am I in the right place here? You ever have that happen where you stumble in, you go into a bar and you've had a couple drinks and you're kind of thinking, I'm not sure I'm in the right place here. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. Maybe that's only ever happened to me. But I am a double major, poli-sci, political science, that's what that stands for, and history major from the Ohio State University. I'm over 50 years old. I qualify for my AARP card. I started making these videos because I handicap football and baseball and college basketball. And that's what we like to do here in the other thing, the Sports Barn. We like to put up our picks and try to get as many as right as possible. And basically, I'm trying to hone my handicapping skills. So, at some point we could consistently pick winners and maybe make a living doing that. But, as I stumbled across this geyser of views talking about Tony Bobulinski here, all I did was read a statement in the New York Post. It's not like I know the guy. All I did was read a statement from the New York Post. But at any rate, where was I? Ohio State, poli-sci major, history major. I'm a libertarian, if you know what that is. I think I'm officially registered libertarian. I think there's like 8 of us, I think Ron Paul, we got him. He's the godfather. I think Kurt Russell's still a libertarian. Certainly Drew Carey. I think Penn Jillette's still a libertarian. Then there's like 2 other guys scattered throughout the country. If we lose Ron Paul, I think we'll be down to 7. I'm okay with Drew Carey's definition of libertarian. He says it's a Republican that still likes to get high. I'm all right with that. I'll go with that. So my background is that in 2016, here comes the presidential election, and here's Trump going up against Hillary Clinton. I like Ted Cruz, and he didn't make it, of course. So we got Trump, and I don't like Trump all that much, frankly. I think the guy's mean. I think he's a bully. I think he said some things that were pretty out there and pretty mean. So that, plus my biggest concern with the guy was I wasn't sure how he was going to govern as president. I just could not get a feel for this guy. Is he going to be a New York liberal? Is he going to govern in a conservative fashion? Is he going to get in there and just appoint more John Roberts onto the Supreme Court, David Souters? I voted for Hillary Clinton. There you have it. I admit it. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. My thinking was, I'd rather have corrupt and possibly moderately competent. Plus, I figured Hillary was somewhat to the right, more conservative than Barack Obama. So I thought, I don't want him getting here with Donald Trump. Really don't know. So that's what I did. And like I said, I was wrong. And then as it turns out, how did I get from there to now backing Trump? Well, I was promised that Donald Trump was as corrupt as a $3 bill. I was promised that they had concrete evidence that this guy was linked, being paid, what have you, by the Russians. Promised. Not even promised, it was almost more than that, guaranteed almost. So I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and years go by, a midterm election goes by, nothing. Finally, finally, they were forced to put out a report, and this Mueller commission, which was staffed with all Democrats, partisan Democrat lawyers, came out and said that there was no Russian collusion. And now I'm like, of course, as we're leading up to this, as the days and years go by, I'm starting to get more and more along the lines of, well, this could all be bullshit. What's going on here? Have I been lied to? And then sure enough, the report comes out and they've got no Russian collusion, and then they've got 10 phony baloney points about obstruction, which were just that. I read them. They were all phony. They were all fake. They were not obstruction. So at that point, then it, dawned on me. It's like, I've been lied to. We've all been lied to by these goddamn media people. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to point out to you about me. Profanity, yes, please. I don't know how you discuss politics or certainly sports without using profanity. So I think we're all adults here. If it offends you, I'm sorry, but I'm not really going to change. I'll try to tone it down a little bit, but there's going to be some profanity. So be forewarned. At any rate, so we've all been lied to. So at that point, I kind of realized that, this has been wrong. I mean, this has been 100% wrong. I mean, this has never happened where an incoming administration has been investigated by the outgoing administration, basically. The words that are being thrown around, I think, are not way off. Coup, treason, this is all, very new, and, I don't think it's good for anybody. So that's about where and of course, at this point, Trump has now started to win me over policy-wise because I'm getting conservative Supreme Court justices. He's not starting all these brush fire wars that his predecessors seem to specialize in. I've gotten my tax cut. These are things that appeal to me. Smaller government, libertarian, smaller government. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. Where I am now a Trump supporter. So, like I said, I think the phony Russia investigation is what turned it for me. And that's kind of what's brought me into the Trump camp. And hey, congratulations to you all. You won in 2016 without me. I apologize for being wrong about Mr. Donald Trump. Still some things about him I don't like, but I guess if you like a guy 100%, I mean, that's probably pretty unlikely, right? All right, so what else do I get here? I wanted to talk about the debate before that becomes too old of news, and then just a few thoughts about Tony Bobulinski and his cell phones. Um, on the debate, I think I have a different take on these debates, perhaps, than I guess the majority of people. I mean, the Democrats all claim they won both debates. The Republicans claim they won both debates. Everybody seems to think that Trump did better in the second debate than he did in the first debate. I don't see it that way at all. I see it the opposite. Let's put it this way. In the second debate, I think Trump did about as well as he could. The game is totally rigged against him. You know, here he's got Joe Biden on one side, an NBC reporter who is clearly voting for Joe Biden, has Joe Biden history all on her, internet record, if you will. The topics themselves are, the bias is baked into the topics. I mean, climate change, racism. Where are the topics on, say, energy independence? Was there one on that? How about one on law and order? Were there any on that? No, of course not. And then, the questions themselves. I mean, President Trump, it is widely recognized by all people, especially your opponent and his supporters, that you are the most racist president in history. What do you say to all the people who your racism has hurt? You have 15 seconds. I mean, those were the questions, basically. And I think Trump did about as well as he could, in that 2-on-1 situation. It was significant at the end there, where Trump had to do it all by himself. Again, 2-on-1, he has to get oil and gas, which frankly has been one of the most important things going in this country in the last 10, 15 years. I mean, if you think things are going okay in this country, probably one of the reasons is because of fracking, because we've been able to develop our own source of energy here in this country. We no longer have to get involved in all these little damn brush fire wars in the Middle East. We don't need those guys as much anymore. We keep the price of energy and gasoline low, which helps everybody, particularly just us, middle class poor people out here in the sticks. So it's all good for us. But Joe Biden, of course, wants to build windmills everywhere and tear down and cap off the oil wells. Mistake, but Trump actually got him to admit that. Now, of course, they're going to lie about it and say, "No, I never said that." Christ, he said that in the debate. What I look at in these debates is not so much of what they say, but just the demeanor, the tone, the way they interact with each other. That's where, the toned down Donald Trump, which, all the polite classes, all the, how to say this, the polite society is, yes, Donald Trump was very presidential. Yes, he won lots of, I guess, maybe he won, some suburban soccer moms who maybe. I think he won a hell of a lot more votes in the first debate when he just mopped the floor with Joe Biden, wiped him out, dominated him. I mean, you watched that debate and you said to yourself, there's a guy that's in charge and there's a doddering old man. And I'm not voting for the doddering old man. It doesn't matter what you say so much. I mean, both of them just say whatever, and it's all mostly lies. I'm the best ever. That's not true. You are the worst ever. I, in fact, am the best ever. But I am the best ever, and you are the worst ever. I mean, it's almost like that. Such a high-level policy discussion. So, that's what I thought. Now, the good news is, I think the first debate's the one that matters, and I think Trump did extremely well in that debate. So I'm not too concerned about the debates. What's left? Before the debate, I don't know if you saw this, but Tony Bobulinski made an appearance I saw it on Fox. And I don't know how widespread the distribution of this. Excuse me. It was billed as a press conference, but it was anything but. He didn't take questions. He just basically went out and made a statement, which really wasn't too much more than what was in the New York Post. I think the addition to what was in the New York Post was that he said he personally met with Joe Biden for about an hour, I think he said, and that it was clear to him that Joe Biden was very familiar with the concept and the company that they were putting together. I believe this was after Biden was out of office. I think this was, I'm going to say February, but I'm going by memory here. So if I'm wrong on that, don't shoot me. But I'm pretty sure he was after Biden was out of office that Bobulinski met with him. If you saw Bobulinski, he's he looks like a wrestler, all right. He wrestled at Penn State in the mid '90s. Dirk Squarejaw. He's but what else about what he had? He had 3 cell phones with him. Now, if you missed the press conference there, he had 3 cell phones with him, and he said these 3 cell phones covered, I forget what time period he said, sometime in the last 5 to 10 years, maybe 5 to 8 years. They cover a period from like 14 through to 18, something like that. And he said these cell phones have only been in my possession, and they carry all kind of evidence against Joe Biden, basically. Receipts, WhatsApp, chats back and forth, texts, emails, receipts. Did I say that? And he said, I'm turning these over to the Senate. Okay, because the Senate had asked for them. So now apparently what's happened is the FBI has asked for him, and they were going to do an interview with him, and they wanted these cell phones. So that's where I think this sits. Now, what do we know now? What happens next? I don't know. Let me say this as plainly as I can. I don't trust the FBI. The FBI has had Hunter Biden's laptop in their possession since December of 2019. And they've done, as I can tell, nothing with it. In fairness to the FBI, we're in an era of unknown and, I won't say unknown, unprecedented almost conditions, this pandemic. So I can see where nothing's getting done. Nobody's, guys that normally be hard at work, in the office, doing their gumshoe work, going out there and getting leads, they're not doing any of this. So I can see where a lot of investigations are just languishing and nothing's happening. But nothing's happened with the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, the same people want copies, or the originals, of Tony Bobulinski's cell phones. So I hope he kept copies of them. I hope he's got copies of them. I'm sure the FBI is going to tell him what they allegedly told the Apple repair guy. What's his name? John Mac? No. He has like an odd name, 4 names, like John Paul Mac Isaac, something like that. They told him, don't talk. Here, we're taking Hunter Biden's laptop, or laptops, I'm not sure which. We're taking them, don't talk. And then, of course, this guy wisely, after no action, decided, I think it'd be better for my physical well-being if I do talk. So, now he's somewhat of a protected guy. But, Bobulinski, I'm sure they're telling him the same thing, don't talk. So, what happens now? I mean, the election's 10 days away. There's not going to be any action out of the FBI in the next 10 days. I can guarantee you that. Will there be leaks out of the FBI? Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that the right, conservatives, Republicans in government don't talk to the press clearly the left does. I mean, that's one of their go-to moves, that they'll say anything and everything to the press, whether it be true or not. Oh, my anonymous source says that Donald Trump likes to eat little children for breakfast, and then he sits around a satanic ring praying for the return of Cthulhu, that sort of thing. And the press goes, oh, wow, do you have another source that I could call and confirm that? That sort of thing. So I think the right does leak. So maybe you might hear some kind of things, something might pop up. But the thing is that, none of these stories carry that far, Or, for example, if Sean Hannity comes out on Wednesday, he says, I've got an exclusive. Sources tell me that Tony Bobulinski's cell phones say X. Is anyone really going to care or listen? I don't think so. Let's put it this way. Only people who would care, people that are already voting for Donald Trump. All of us will tune in and say, what do you know, Sean? Tell us. But nobody else is going to care. Certainly not any undecided voters. The only thing I'm thinking that would move the Bobulinski story forward in some fashion, there's got to be some kind of proof tying payments directly to Joe Biden. I don't think it's going to do it to just show money going to Hunter. Joe Biden at the debate, I swear I have not taken a cent. Well, of course, or I think he phrased it, haven't taken a cent from any foreign entity. I get my money from Hunter. It's not coming from a foreign entity. Come on, man. I didn't lie. It's coming from Hunter. I don't know where he got it from. It's coming from Hunter. I didn't lie. So, that's his story. We need something that shows money going directly to Joe Biden. And I don't know that Bobulinski has it. I just don't know that it's on his cell phones. Ultimately, in 10 days, if Joe Biden wins, this is, 86th. The story will never see the light of day. Those cell phones, gone. Any FBI investigation, gone. Closed. Forget about it. Now, if Trump wins, maybe. But at that point, frankly, for me, I could care less at that point. All I know is I dodged socialism or outright Marxism for 4 more years, and I could give a damn what happens to Joe Biden at that point. Frankly, Joe Biden's going to be dead in 2 years. Does this guy look like someone that's going to last another 10 years? I guess I'd love to see the 3 cell phones that Bobulinski has generate something, generate that proof that breaks the dam, that forces a prosecution of some type against the Biden family. I just don't know it's there, man. I really don't. For that matter, I think Bobulinski could help us by telling a concise story of what exactly was this company of yours supposed to do? How are you guys thinking of profiting? What was that email going around about listing basically every last Democrat that's a who's who of Democrats as key contacts? What was that? What were they supposed to do? Are they potential investors? Are they supposed to help you in some fashion? Were you paying them in some fashion? I could use some details about what this all was supposed to be. But, I think Bobulinski now has gone to ground. And I don't know we're going to get a whole lot. My thinking is that if Bobulinski lays out all the details, as Denzel Washington said in the movie Philadelphia, explain this to me like I'm a 4-year-old. I think if he did that, he's going to incriminate himself. I'm not sure the good lieutenant here is squeaky clean and all this. I'm not totally ready to buy that. Squeaky clean lieutenant, dirty Bidens. I think there's probably some overlap there. So Anyway, these are some thoughts I had. I wanted to get some of this out to you, just to introduce you to me as far as my political thinkings. So, if you're like libertarian, ew, and then, I don't want to waste your time here in the barn. Plenty other places if you don't like that kind of thinking out there on the internet. Otherwise, we got sports. That'll be going on all fall, the rest of the football season. So when I flip the sign back to Sports Barn, hey, come back for that. Sports first, that's kind of my preference. I spend more time watching sports than I do reading the political news. But, if people want to talk politics, I can do that too. Politics Barn. That's what we got there for you. I really appreciate everybody that checked out that other video there. I mean, frankly, it's kind of exciting for me. That was kind of something new for me. It's like, wow, look at all these people. Ooh, and they're leaving comments, which for the most part are pretty positive. I feel good about myself. So, hey, I really appreciate that. Like I said, if you want more of this content, I'll give it to you. If, as I said, maybe I can inform you that much. Maybe I can entertain you just that much. Maybe somewhere together you like what you get. Good. And then you come back and we keep doing it. That sounds okay to me. Thanks for anybody to hit the subscribe button. I mean, I think I tripled my subscribers in one day. Woohoo. Well, that's all I got for you. So thanks so much. We'll see how this goes, and if this is kind of content people like, I'll probably just keep pumping it out there till I get bored with it or you don't like it. Thanks. Have a nice rest of your weekend. Eric Arnold signing off.